Okay, this is a 3x3x7 cube for you or whatever. I'm used to solving the V cubes and such, so I put the black stickers on mine instead of the white. Okay, so to start with, we've got to mess this thing up. To not just make it easy, of course, just focus on the layers first, always doing double turns to keep the layers intact. I have not yet figured out what happens if you don't have a layer intact and try too hard to move it, and I don't really want to have to. This doesn't look fun to put back together. Okay. Usually I'll sit here and mess them up for a while because it's kind of difficult. Okay, I'd say that's good enough. Okay, now that you have that, just for tradition, I guess, whatever, mess up the whole thing like a regular 3x3. Okay, so that is a very interesting looking scrambled cube. So now what I like to do, I'm sure there's much faster and better ways and everything to do this, but this is very simple. You just need to be able to solve a 3x3. I start by just getting the top layer, just using whatever normal 3x3 method and stuff to be all of the color. Just get the top layer so it can turn. These don't matter, none of this matters, just get them all facing up. And then using whatever method you do, just put all of the regular block pieces into the middle layer where they belong. And however you do the top, orient some pieces. And now you have, so you can turn all of these nice little layers. Okay, now start by, this part's not too hard, just trying to move stuff around, keep doing your double thing, try to move around and get some pairs. Move that out of the way, pair another one, where to go? Pair another one, and then that was an accident, but just get them up here so now you have your paired ones together, and then work on some down here. So there's another one, so now I put this also on the top layer, just to get it out of the way. And then I pair a fourth one and get it up there. I could have done that a little bit better. If you mess it up, just fix it. I'm sure I could do better than that. Oh. Well, that is embarrassing. There it is. I lost him. So how's it going? Sorry about this. Shouldn't be happening. Okay. There are much easier ways to do all this, I'm sure. But oh well. Okay, so now I have my 4. Wow, they all happen to be black. You can do it like that. It really doesn't matter all that much. The goal is just to get the cube solved. So I have those, still ignoring the edges. Now the tricky part is pairing the last ones. Okay, So here's the method that I figured out. It's not the fastest. Again, this is just to be able to actually solve it. I line everything up so none of the top and middle layers are matching. Putting the top and middle layer together first. So none of the top and middle layers match. But I want to be able to line them up so one turn will match everything up. So to start with, I see that this one, when this gets turned, that's going to line that up. So then the next piece that I'm going to look for is the one that'll match this, which is on this side. So I'm going to bring it down to the bottom and put it back up. So now when I do a turn, those two will be swapped. And I need to find this piece, which got down to the bottom when I did that. And here's a little move I came up with, you could probably do. Okay. So I have, this is the piece that I want up here that got down while I was switching stuff around, keeping the layers intact. So this piece I want up here, and these three are oriented so that when I turn it, they'll be able to. So this last piece just needs to get in. So I put it underneath where it goes, and I do a double turn, which puts it up to this top and puts the piece that was up there down here. And I move this one out of the way of that area I'm turning, so that when I put the target piece back down, they're next to each other. And then from there you proceed to move them over underneath, and this is the target piece still. And then it moves back into place, and that's the target piece, and that was the other piece. I can do that again real quick. Okay, so this is target piece, that's where it's going. Put it underneath. Okay, and now your one turn will match those, match those, match those, match those. So now it's time for the last layer. So it's the same exact principle. Get it so none of them match up all the way, like so. And then do the exact same thing from before. So we want that one to line up. So then I'm going to need the blue and orange piece, which is over here, and I'm going to get that up by any method of choice, keeping the double turns. Those are going to work. And then again, I have the same situation where I moved this piece down, put it underneath where it goes, bring it up, bring out the bottom, put it down next to the piece, bring it to the side, and put it back up to the top. And now, with the one turn, all of the corners are solved. Okay, now for the edges. This is a really simple move. Again, one move with a little bit of variation. It's going to solve everything. Not the fastest, whatever. Okay, so what this does is it switches either the top, middle, or bottom layer from this piece and this piece, like across from each other, and also the same layer from this cross. So to start with, I have these two greens and a top green, these two oranges and a top orange, and so I'm going to rotate the top layers of across and across, and that is going to match up one of the oranges and one of the greens. So what this is two turns in the middle, one turn any direction of just the layer you're going to solve, whether it be top, middle, bottom, or whatever. Okay, so the one turn on the top layer, another double middle, two turns on whatever layer you're doing, another turn in the middle, and then one last turn on that layer. Just it doesn't matter which way you turn that layer as long as you're consistent. And yeah, technically the pieces we were using, 2 more in the middle and they'll be back to top. So now this and this one are solved. So it's time to go on to the rest of the ones that still need to get solved. So I'm going to do a middle, and apparently the blues don't like the middle. So you put them across from each other. So I have this blue with that middle right there, and then this one over here. So they're across from each other. I do 2 down, rotate the middle layer once, 2 down in the middle, rotate the middle layer twice, and then once again, and the last rotation. So now I have 2 blue sides solved. We're getting there. Conveniently, this one wants a bottom rotation. Okay, so now I only have 3 more cubes that are messed up, and I want to do bottom rotation. I'm going to move this green over to that, so it'll be underneath. But I have this piece over here that's messed up. So I have to line it up with the same color. So I could either line it up with another orange and put an orange piece under this and switch the red to a different orange, or I could put a red there and it'll just cancel out and it won't matter, and they'll swap, and that's taking care of whatever parity issues there might be. So across from each other, and that one, and then the solved side across from that. Okay, and now the last set is this one, and I'll put it here so to show you these 2. So that, again, that's going to be a bottom layer, or both top layers. Might be a little bit easier to just turn those instead of that. So I'm going to line up. It'll line up for me. Just a solved color, fixing all parity. And I'm going to do the move. 2 in the middle, top 2 or just the bottom one, same thing. 2 in the middle, twice, and once more. Now all these pieces are solved, and you proceed to solve the cube like you would any normal 3x3. And yeah, it's really not as hard as you might think to start with. Sure, you can find faster methods, anything, but this is probably the simplest way to do it. This cube looks really cool, freaks people out. It'll be awesome to be able to solve it, and it's really interesting. I've had people say, "Oh, I've never seen a cube like that before," just randomly. And yeah, I don't know what I'm doing there. Just another thing is just always be careful when you're moving the cube. When you're just rotating it like a 3x3 and stuff, because it's really easy to like try to catch onto one of these pieces while you're moving it. And like I said, I don't want to find out what happens when you do that. I don't want to have to try to fix something like that. So just one last thing, and we have solved this 3x3x7. And now you can try it on yours.